Do you ever wonder if those winning bids at a tax sale auction are really good deals or are they total duds? Some investors, they snag incredible steals while others massively overpay without even realizing it. So today, I'm going to show you some actual winning bids from recent tax sales, the real numbers, real properties, all that good stuff. We're going to analyze them together right here on the screen and decide which ones are deals and which ones are duds. Let's dive in and see what lessons we can learn from looking at these results. So what you're looking at is the Citrus County Tax Deed Auction page. We're going to go to the Real Auction website, which is the third party that they use to handle all their auctions. And truthfully, most of the counties in Florida use this site as well. We'll click on Auction Calendar. And then from here, we're going to go to this auction, which was handled just a couple of days ago. You'll see that a number of these properties got redeemed. And that is not uncommon. You know, some people want to complain about, oh, I researched all these properties and they got redeemed. That's just part of the business. But if you look at these auction results from just a couple of days ago, you'll see that you should have the expectation for the next auction, perhaps, that if you research all these properties, a good portion will be redeemed. We have this one here that was sold for $4,100. Let's take a look and see what we can figure out about this property. All right, so we've got 0.19 acres, 8,300 square feet, valued at $4,400 on the tax assessment. The only previous transaction was 1976. Let's see if this person got a deal or they got a dud. All right, so let's pull this up on the map here. So we do have road frontage. That's pretty cool. That helps us out quite a bit. Looking at this parcel, it looks like it's kind of an odd parcel, considering that some of these. Yeah, we have some roads here. Okay, interesting stuff. All right, let's see if we can pull up some sales data. Let's see, vacant and vacant. Don't see anything loading around here. Let's keep going back. All right, so we're not seeing a whole lot of information when it comes to this property. You got some parcels around here. This one's over $200,000. It's quite a bit of money over here. Okay, so we got these that are kind of similar. Maybe a little bit smaller, even $5,000 and $18,000. We'd have to look into this a little bit more. This gentleman paid $4,100. I wouldn't call it a deal or a dud. I would call it probably right in the middle somewhere. Let's look at a few more in this county here since we got up. Again, got a whole bunch of other redeemed. Let's see what this property here is. Paid $5,000 for this property. It is 0.18 acres. And Coastal Rivers Basin is the district, $8,400 and change. Let's see if this person got a deal or a dud. All right, so you've got this. Looks like there's two lots here that are included on this property. Looks like there's some mobile homes, single wide, some double wides. Definitely a mobile home area, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Let's see. We'll go to vacant because this property is vacant. So right back here, right behind it, actually, 2024. So just over a year and a half ago, this property sold for $10,000. This property sold for $80,000. They're saying it's vacant. I can actually see a mobile home on it. So it looks like this whole section was for $80,000. Let's zoom out a little bit here, see what else we've got. We got some larger parcel overs here. Those aren't really comparable. We got this property here that's $5,600. Scroll around a little bit, see what else we got. Some larger stuff that's not really comparable. We'll scroll down. Maybe there's something in this block. Nope. So this person paid $5,000. I don't know if that's a deal or not. That's probably not a deal that I would make, at least. I don't think it's a complete dud. They can get their money back out, maybe a couple $1,000 perhaps. All right, let's look at this one real quick. This $32,100 is what they pay for this 0.38 acres. Let's take a look at this. And obviously, if you were to do actual research on these properties when you go to buy them and all that good stuff, you would probably want to dig much deeper than this, but we're just kind of doing this for the point of this demonstration. Let's see if this person got a deal or does. We got looks like a mobile home of some sort there, so we know the property is improved. Go to sales data, 2025 improved, 2024. We'll zoom out to see if it'll refresh, see if anything pops up. All right, not a whole lot of sales activity going on here, huh? Let's zoom out a little more. And let's see what we got here. Let me make sure I click those layers correctly. Oh, got to click that box right there. That's what I was missing. All right. So we got this property here. Um, so we got quite a few. So I'm going to go back to that layer. And, if you were like an appraiser or something, you would use something within the past 6 months. On tax sale properties, sometimes we have to go back a little bit further than that to get an idea what stuff is worth. But nonetheless, let's take a look. We got $75,000 here. On this little lot right here, we've got 149, 142, 130, 200,000, 214, 184 down the street. So we got a lot of comps that are around here, and these are going on the low end of 75K. There's one for 22.6, looks like a little mobile home or something there. Our lot is about twice the size, and it looks like the house is bigger. So again, you probably want to take a look at this property, but this gentleman paid this lady paid $32,100. And that is cheap. So I would say he or she got a deal on this property. Again, the structure could be burned up, it could be demolished. I don't know. We're just doing very basic research today to kind of figure out if these people are doing any good. Let's move on let's do one more here in this county, and then we'll move on to another one. That property actually went to the certificate holder. So if you don't are familiar with Florida, is a tax lien, tax deed hybrid state. In this situation, the certificate owner won because nobody bid on the property at the tax deed sale. So, all right, we got this property here, $58,000. Let's take a look at this one. See if we can figure out exactly what we're looking at here. All right, so we got a property that's 1.07 acres. And let's see if there's anything on it. Oh, we got quite a few old transactions. Got a mobile home, had a roof over. So we've got a older mobile home on it, 1982, 924 square feet. My assumption is just because of what was paid for this property, as long as they did their research, the mobile home is still going to be there. $58,000. Let's take a look and see if there's any photos of it by chance. Ooh, little tiny. Okay, so it's a single wide mobile home, older mobile home. Doesn't look like it's in horrible condition as of 2012. That was a long time ago though, so there's no telling what's been happening since then. All right, let's click on this. Let's see if there are some mobile homes. It's on Highway 488, so it has access. It's a 1 acre piece of property. That looks decent. Let's check the sales data real quick here. 2025 sales. We'll do 2024 too, since I didn't see anything pop up. Not seeing a whole lot of sales around here. That's interesting. Got a property back here for $87,000. Make sure, yeah, everything's good. Improved residential. Okay. Let's see, 155, a 65,000. Now this one for like 87. Let's see if we can go over here real quick. So it looks like a double wide mobile home. Got a property back here. That's not really comp because that's a much larger piece of property, so we can't use that as a comparable. Let's go down here. We got this property that sold for 65,000. See what that is. Can't really tell what that is. Again, if we were actually going to bid on this property and buy it ourselves, we would do quite a bit more research. Ideally, you'd have something through here that is sold for us. We don't see anything. The closest one's going to be this one for 65, and not really seeing too many comps. This person paid 58. Don't know if it's a deal or a dud yet. You would have to do quite a bit more digging to figure that out. So let's move on to the next one here. We got looks like looks like acreage, 1.24 acres. They bought it in 95. Let's see if we got any photos of the property. Let's see, improvements, none, residential, none. So we're talking vacant property on this one. Let's pull this up real quick. The person paid $24,100. Let's see if they got a deal or a dud. Kind of a pie-ish looking shape. Vacant area mobile homes, area site built homes, a little bit of everything. So we'll go here. We'll go click on vacant sales. See if there's anything around here in the past couple of years at least. Give us an idea. All right, so you got a $55,000 property down here, 65 down here. You'll notice this is a little bit different subdivision. This is smaller lots up here. So 65, 55, 55, 25, 11.5. So it's hard to say exactly. This person paid $24,000. Just based on these comps here, 55, 65, 55 over here. You're probably in the 40s, I would say. Maybe low 40s, somewhere in that ballpark. So, all right, that's Citrus County. Let's take a look at Leon County. And sometimes what I like to do too, because a lot of people will say, how can I find the most profitable areas? Well, it's doing research like this right here, right? Like we know that there's a few people there that made money, a few people there that kind of broke even. But you can also go back and look on historical sales. Now, most people don't move with the speed that I like to move with. I like to buy properties very, very quickly. I'm sorry, I like to buy properties and sell them very, very quickly. A lot of people take a year, 2 years to sell these properties. Just maybe because they're not in the business full time. Maybe they're waiting on something, the market to change or to go up or go down or try to get top dollar, whatever it is. Let's take a look from properties like a year ago. Here's some Leon, and what we'll do is we'll see if any of these properties have sold since then. All right, so again, you got a lot of properties that have that have been redeemed over time. Let's see. Got a lot of redeemed properties even at that time. All right, let's take this property here and see if it'll pull up for us. Okay, cool. All right, so this is a cool property to pick. This has sold. So it's a mobile home. Looks like it was purchased for $56,000, resold for $74,000. That's not a huge return, but I mean it's $18,000. Like it's not too shabby. You do 10 of these a year, and you got a nice little income coming in, right? You do 5 of these a year, and you got enough to pay most of your bills, right? Mobile home, 1991, 1,008 square feet. Gentleman paid 56. He sold it 8 months later for 74. Holding costs during that time, probably insurance, taxes. I would say minimal maintenance. It's an older property. Let's see. Yeah, built in 1991. Yeah, I mean, don't know what they did to this property to resell it. Don't know. Obviously we don't know all the ins and outs on the property or anything else. But just looking at that, I mean, let's see if we can get a quick aerial of there it is. Yeah, so it looks like a decent little property here. Nonetheless, he made a few bucks on it. All right, let's go to another one here. Let's click on, let's see. Here's one for 15.3. Let's see if this one is sold. Okay, so he bought this for 15.3 and he sold it a short time later for 19,000 via warranty deed, which means the title was cleared. Or maybe he just sold it without title insurance and he self-insured it. That I don't know if I would call that a deal. Truthfully, $3,000 or $4,000, that's not really worth my time. Maybe people are different, but for this person, he was. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to the third page here and see if we find anything cool. All right, we've got, let's click on this one. $60,500 is what this person paid. They have not sold it yet. So they're still, maybe they bought it as a rental. There's no telling what people are doing. All right, let's see if we got any more. I think we did one of these. I'm not sure which one it was. Oop, from loading page. So I'll show you why this is happening. We did this the other day. So we'll copy this, and basically it's when they inputted the information, it is not formatted correctly. There's supposed to be a space between any letters in the parcel number in this county. So we'll search there, and let's see if they have sold this property. So okay. Well, nope. They bought it for 55. They have not sold this property yet. All right. So as you can see, most of these people are not selling the property nearly as quickly as I would like to have sold the property. Let's go back. Let's do one more auction in there. Just pick, let's see, 918. Let's see if we can find a vacant lot or something a little bit cheaper, a little bit smaller for the folks that have more limited budgets. Let's see. Here's one. Here's one. 61. Looks like a pretty good deal. Let's see what they got for it. Oh, and again, it's not formatted correctly. We got to go. We'll copy it. We'll search it with the correct format. Okay, Harrison Timber Company. Okay, so that's not a bad little turn there. 6,100 to 10 grand. Just what's that? 40% return or so. That's not too shabby, That's a pretty small investment. Yes, they paid 6,100 and they turned it into 10 grand, not too shabby. I would say that's the deal. It's not life-changing money or anything crazy, but yeah, it's definitely a deal. Let's look at this one below, then we'll move on to another county. Tennis Ventures. Let's see. Okay, so she paid 27.2, and they still have that property. They haven't done anything with that property, so maybe they're holding it. Maybe they're trying to develop it. There's no telling. All right, let's look at. Let's see. We've done Citrus, done Leon. Let's look at Marion County. We'll kind of do the same thing here. Figure out if some properties are deals or are they doesn't. As you can see, they have the foreclosure sales on here as well. And I think I actually clicked the wrong link. That's probably the reason why. Make sure you click the right link, Marion tax deed. So you're not trying to buy bank owned and have a bank bidding against you. All right, so let's go back a year or so ago and do the same thing with this county to try to figure out, the people that were buying a year ago. Is, obviously markets change and stuff like that, but did they make any money when they were buying? Because, it's a great way to say, hey, somebody might have bought last month, and based on my assumption of value and what they paid, I don't know if they made money or not. But this person, these guys bought a year ago. They've had this investment for a year. So, when you look at properties like this, do they make any money or do they not? Right? Like let's figure out. Let's see if we've got. Here's one, and we'll just go work down a couple here. Person paid 21.6, 21.6, and they've got a judgment for $100. That's the suit to quiet title. So they just now got the suit to quiet, or I guess 5 or 5 months ago got the suit to quiet title done. So they haven't been able to sell that property. Next one. Let's see if this is a deal or a dud. 15.9 is what they paid. Well, they sold it for 24. That's not too shabby there. I don't see a judgment on this one, so I don't know if it's. I don't believe it's had a suit to quiet title done. So maybe they did sell it with a warranty deed. So maybe they did a certification of sorts. But anyhow, so say they got 17 into it, sold for 24. They made $7 grand. Not too shabby. That's a decent deal in my book. Now let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to the next page. Got quite a few properties. See, now there are some that still got redeemed, right? Let's look at this one right here. So they haven't sold it yet. It's still under tax deed. Let's look at this one here. So they got the tax deed. They cleared the title, but they have not sold this property yet. Let's keep going. I can't remember which one we clicked on. I think we clicked on that one, maybe. Let's see. All right, so they got tax deed. 23,000. Okay, I think I know what went on here. 23,000 they paid for the tax deed. Let's click on this warranty deed here. Okay, so actually, okay, so what's happened here is this was actually purchased for $23,000 by a builder. Oddly enough, I used to do business with this builder. I'm actually taught him how to buy properties at tax sales. So what he does now, and I actually haven't spoken to this gentleman in probably 12 or 13 years. Well, we actually built some homes together. He was trying to figure out how else I made money. I told him about the tax sales. Long story short, this gentleman actually buys a lot of vacant lots in places like this, Rainbow Lakes Estates, at tax sales. Then he goes and he builds on them. So he's making money right off the bat because he's buying these properties cheaper than he could on the open market through like a realtor. And then he goes and he puts a spec house on the properties and he sells a home and land package. He's done very, very well doing that. And, he probably saved, don't know what exactly this property is worth. I would say probably around $35,000, somewhere in that ballpark. So right off the bat, he makes 12 off that. And I don't know what the margin is on a spec house, but he makes money off the spec house as well when he rolls it in together. And he kind of chooses his own inventory like that. He's done very well. I've seen his name a few times at these tax sales. He actually has bid against me a number of times as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see he's kind of turned this into his own little niche because he builds houses on them. Now, most builders, that builder just happens to know about this specific angle because we were partners a long time ago when I first got in the business and I showed him how to do this. Most builders do not want to go through the process of learning everything. They don't want to go through the process of researching the properties. They want to look at the property. Oftentimes they want to do a soil test on the property. They want to buy the property or not. They don't have to go through the tax sale process because that's, their building. They're not worried about buying lots. They're worried about how do you build a house. It just so happens out that he kind of has the knowledge to build off of, kind of because he got a education on it a very long time ago. All right. Pretty cool though. Let's see. Let's move on. Let's see if there's another page here. Then we'll go one more county. Here's one. Let's see. This might be the same builder. I don't know. No. Okay, this is actually a pretty good one here. $16,800. Quiet title. So he bought it in September of last year. He quieted the title, finalized in February of this year, and then 6 months later, after that, he sold it for $34,000. He brought a couple of grand into the quiet title, and let's see. And he paid $16,800 for that property. So he walked away with about $15,000, $15,000 and change. That's a very solid deal. I'm going to see if it's maybe the builder sold it or something. Let's see here. Nope, not familiar with that person. So cool. 16,008 to 34,000 bucks. Pretty solid. That's a good little investment. And again, you do these in volume. And I wouldn't say we haven't come across any absolute home run deals yet, but you do these in volume, you can make a substantial amount of money. So let's go. Let's do one more county, then we'll wrap up today's video. Let's do Bay County here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go way back just to kind of get an idea of what people have made here. We'll go back to about a year ago. Let's do September 2024. Yeah, we'll go here. Let's see. Scroll down. All right, let's click on, we'll do this one, $9,400. So this person paid. Let's see if they've sold this property yet. Yes, we agree to all your terms and conditions. Sold this property. All right, tax deed. No, they haven't done anything with it yet. All right, let's move on. Anything else? Not seeing anything that really sticks out. We got 110-1. Let's see if they've sold this property yet. Scroll down. Okay, so this is another decent property here. $10,100 they paid. They cleared the. Actually, this is an interesting deal. Instead of clearing the title through a suit to quiet title or a warranty deed, they actually got a former owner, Timothy and Adam Cantrell. He's the person that lost it in a tax sale. He got them to quit claim deed his interest to the owner, which will satisfy a lot of title companies. That way you can get title insurance without a suit to quiet title and without a tax foreclosure certification. This is a strategy that we teach in the Tax Sale Academy. But he did that, and it looks like it was a nominal amount. It says $100 here. Generally, the $100 is just an arbitrary space filler or blank filler. He might have given him $100, $500. I don't know. It's probably outside of the realm of a typical transaction. But nonetheless, say 10-1, say gave him $400, round up to 10-5, $22,000 minus 10,500, $11,500. So he more than doubled his money. That's a fantastic deal. Good for him. Good for him. That's a deal I would take all day long. All right, guys, I think it's going to wrap it up today. As you can see, there's people out there making money buying and selling these tax deeds. Yes, there's different strategies. There's different things people do. We have the builder. We have the guy that, got a quick claim deed from a former owner. We have people that went through the suit to quiet title process. Everybody has different strategies, different angles, which is a very important aspect of this business, to have your own angle. That way you're not chasing the same deals everybody else is chasing. But as you can see, we just randomly clicked on 3, 4, 5 different counties on properties that sold a year ago, properties that sold a few weeks ago, and there's people out there making money. But again, this is an exercise that I typically will do whenever I am looking at a new area to invest in. Go back a year ago, back 6 months ago, and figure out what are the people doing that bought properties then. Are they making money or are they not? Well, if they're overpaying then, they're probably still overpaying, and you don't want to invest in those areas. But as you can see, just looking at the few samples of properties that we went over, there's people making money in these specific counties. Again, there's 1 or 2 deals that I would say that's a fantastic deal, but the majority of people are still making money. We didn't find any true home run deals where you're 10xing your money or anything like that. These are great properties. These are great deals that these people had to have a ability to build their wealth over time through the tax sell business. If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out our step-by-step training that we offer through our comprehensive platform at taxsellacademy.com. And also, do me a huge favor, click that thumbs up button and subscribe to this channel if you are enjoying these training videos. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.